if Tori's people are the ones trying to point it on you, why do you still feel sympathy for Tori?
That's what I said. I was like, yo, his lawyers were really trying to set you up. They were really trying to say that you shot Megan. That was the story that they were going with in court. And you feel sympathy for this nigga? Why?
Unless that's the immunity. Maybe she was. And he handed her the gun or some shit.
Well, he said, dance, bitch.
This the kind of beat to go, this the kind of beat to go, this the kind of beat to go, rock, top, top.
Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Welcome back to another episode of the Petty Headquarters. I'm your host, Tiana Locke, and this is
Jessie Strange.
And today we have a very special episode. We are going to be diving deep. Well, maybe not that deep.
Not that
but
deep.
Deep enough into Kelsey and Megan Thee Stallion's friendship.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Kelsey recently did an interview. You know, she hasn't spoken on anything. She hasn't said much. She hasn't done interviews. So she had recently did an interview with the Danza Project, which shocked everyone because what do you possibly have to talk about?
Right. She ain't speak on the stand.
Right.
So
she had memory loss on the stand, but spoke on the podcast.
yeah, so that's what brought us here, right? That's
Yeah.
where we're gonna dive into the conversation that they had on that interview.
Yeah, we're gonna chat about it.
But if you guys don't know it, and for those who don't know, which I'd be surprised if you don't, right? So the story goes a couple years ago, which was what 2020. Megan, Kelsey, her best friend, and Tori had all went to Kylie Jenner's house, had a party, were super lit. They got into an argument because Kelsey found out that Megan was fucking Tori.
Mm-hmm.
There was an argument that broke out in the car. Somebody shot Megan on the foot. And then, you know, you guys can look up the story. We're not going to dive deep into the evidence and that whole situation. But Tori was convicted.
Yep.
He's in jail for 10 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how the story goes, right? I mean, did I miss anything?
No, that's pretty much a brief summary of the story. Kelsey Harris, you know, her and Megan, they met in college and then they became really close, best friends. You know, Kelsey called her sister, as she told the host on the Danza Project. So clearly there is a relationship here that they had for a minute, I would say. And according to Kelsey, you know, she saw that Megan had talent and was like, yo, like,
Yeah.
let's really get you on YouTube. Let's do something. So she, of course, you know, shot whatever she shot, created the content, posted on YouTube, and it was just going up on campus.
So she's taking credit for Megan's success or discovery, but
I don't think so.
I kind of wanted to go into the interview, and really go in order from what we find out. But before we go into like the interview and what they talk about, I definitely suggest you guys go listen to it for yourself. You know, we're not gonna give everything here.
Right.
We're just gonna have our opinions.
Right.
But what did you think about the interview? Like, did you like it? Did you think it was informal at all?
Honestly, I feel like this was the most pointless interview ever. I feel like Kelsey honestly wasted her time doing this interview. It just felt like she kept saying, I wanted to clear my name. This is a chance for me to defend my name. But I felt like she was saying a lot of nothing and it was just a runaround for everything. Also, me personally, I do think that the host did a great job at making her feel welcomed. I feel like they did ease into asking, you know, certain questions. However, me personally, I felt like they didn't ask enough questions to really tell the truth to the story. Because if you're saying that you're coming on this to tell the truth, why haven't you said anything?
Yeah, definitely.
So I felt like I did not see. It was a waste of my time.
Mm-hmm.
It was a waste of my time even watching it because I really thought she was gonna come on some Cat Williams shit, bro.
Well, that's what their sound bites made it sound like. You know what I'm saying? With like the preview to the episode or whatever, they made it sound like she was gonna talk.
I mean, of course they're gonna make it sound like that. It's her,
right?
So you know, in regards to the situation, considering the situation, of course they're gonna make it sound like that.
Yeah,
but
we
it was
didn't
a
get
waste of time. No, we didn't get that at all. It was so pointless, and I also just feel like they didn't ask specific questions. You know, okay, so we're just gonna start from order. Let's go in order and then go into it.
Okay, so like the interview starts off with Kelsey Nicole introducing herself and then talking about how, you know, she had lost her father, and they were just immediately got into the internet culture thing, which I like to talk about. She was saying how there were people online trying to dox her father's grave, which I thought was pretty similar to what they were trying to do to Megan's mom's grave. And they get into the whole conversation on how she went and had like this person who was trying to dox her was like a nursing student, which I thought was interesting because like, you know, you guys see trolls online and you don't even think these people are like
actual people,
right? Like, and she went out her way to go contact the college, which I think was good for her part,
right?
Because I feel like a lot of these people don't understand that there's actual real life consequences to your actions,
right?
And I don't know, I guess I you know, I'm gonna point out the parts of the interview that I liked because we got to see a little bit of a different side of Kelsey that we haven't had before. She's not a public figure, so we don't have much to go based off of anyways. But yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was cool that she called because good for you. But you know, some people did point out that, you know, she, especially talking about her experience with the situation with her dad and like, you know, the whole situation with people trying to dox his grave. But then you're there singing to Nicki Minaj lyrics about about Nicki basically saying that Megan's lying on her dead mom. So I don't.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, so I felt, and that's how I felt a lot of the times. Like while I was watching this interview, I'm like, okay, I'm not trying to be biased. I'm going into this with an open mind, and I'm really trying to hear you out. But also, you're not saying much.
Yeah.
And then I feel like when she did say something, it kind of a little bit contradicted, only because I feel like I don't know anything and you're not saying anything. So it's like, how do you expect people to listen or take in what you say without knowing anything?
Yeah, I agree. And I'll definitely share my my opinions on what you just said later on in the conversation because I agree with you a lot. Then there was one particular thing that stood out to me. But yeah, so they have that conversation, which was a really, you know, I guess good way to start and allow her to be open and comfortable.
So, you know, they also go into talking about, you know, her career and how she started it. And one of the things that she talked about is, you know, she decided to further continue her father's legacy after he passed away, since he was like big and influential in the music industry. So she decided to take that same route. And, you know, she talks about being in making appearances in music videos, as well as casting different models for different music videos. So basically, she's always been
in the scene,
you know, knowing a lot of people and just having that connection.
Yeah.
Which makes sense why she later ended up working with Megan, you know, because she already was doing a lot of the things anyway.
Right.
So that's how I guess you can say them two became in cahoots.
Not really, because they were in college.
Right. But I'm saying in the beginning, obviously, like I said, she created content for her on YouTube, but then it came back.
Right. Full circle.
Right. It came back full circle because she was just still in that industry.
Right.
So, of course, Megan hit her up like, hey, da-da-da-da. And then, boom, that just happened.
Right. I also thought it was interesting that she opens up about her past, her living situation, coming from nothing, talking about how her and her family were literally on food banks, waiting online for food. I think that allows us to see kind of, again, we talk about this all the time on the podcast, learning about someone's upbringing. You can kind of understand why they are the way they are and the choices they make and the mentality that goes behind it, because we all grow up differently, right? You're not going to have someone who, who grows up, in the hood, like they use the example in the podcast, which is a great example. When someone's knocking on your door, and you in the hood, it's a different type of time than when you in Beverly Hills. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not the same type of knock on the door. Mm-hmm. So, I think getting to know that side kind of puts this mentality where people who grow up with absolutely nothing and struggling, you can tell she said, like, even getting her first job at Aeropostale, it was like out of her norm. Mm-hmm. And she had to get a connection in because, she's not from that type of place. Like, she elaborated. But I feel like it paints this picture of a woman who will always be in survival mode, even when you're not in that place anymore. When you grow up in that type of environment, it's hard you still see those reminiscences of survival, whether you have a lot of money or not, right? And so I think this goes on to play on my opinions and stuff like that, because obviously she's talkative here, even though she said a whole lot of nothing, but she didn't talk on the stand when it was most important. Mm-hmm. And there was rumors that maybe she was paid. And then like that goes to my personal opinion and speculation. None of this is truth. This is just how I feel using, just my study, just how people are, right? Like there is no truth to this, but it's not far-fetched to see someone who can easily be bought out when you've come from nothing and you're in survival mode. And like she said, what's more important to protect herself and her son. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Right. But I thought that was an interesting fact to know about her. I didn't know that, that was her upbringing.
What you said makes a lot of sense about her constantly being in survival mode. And that was one of the things that I thought about when the topic of therapy came up and she kind of felt like she didn't really need therapy. She didn't say those exact words. Mm-hmm. She said that, she knows it'd be good, but she kind of just is the type, she neglected it and just decided to move forward, which again is going back to the same, like, again, those roots just based in generational trauma and just survival mode, because you experienced something extremely traumatic, all of you, well, you and Megan, and it's like, you don't want to talk about it. Then she talks about how, she had tests done. And I'm like, that's not really the same as actually going to therapy.
She had what?
She had tests done where they diagnosed her. She was diagnosed with PTSD and anxiety. And I'm like, that's not really the same form of therapy that they were talking about or suggesting. Mm-hmm. So it just makes me wonder, like, are you also the type of old school person to think that people that go to therapy are like crazy or something's wrong with them? So in your mind, you're like, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm going to just keep doing me. Mm-hmm. That's what it sounded like to me. So it just really does connect to what you were saying, which is just kind of like a little by little shedding light on who she is.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because also one thing that that stood out to me was that, yes, this interview was about her, right? Mm-hmm. It was an interview to interview her. And you can tell that the reason why she took this interview to begin with was because they were not going to ask her the questions that we all were tuning into here. Find out, yeah, right. Exactly. Like, look, the hosts were great. Like, I think he's very well spoken. He does a great job at making her feel comfortable, which is super important. And empathizing. I really like that he was able to empathize and really get her side, but only a particular side. He didn't get the full side. And I feel like, yes, I understand his approach, but we not tuning in to find out how they became best friends. We're not tuning in to hear that she didn't want to talk about the Tory, how intimate they were, how they met. She didn't want to talk about how she found out that Megan was cheating.
She didn't want to talk about nothing.
She didn't want to talk about who shot Megan. She didn't even admit that Megan got shot. but she empathized and felt bad for Tory.
That's the part that killed me, and I was gonna go in order, but since we're here,
Yeah.
that's the part that really upset me, where I just feel like, okay, I'm really trying to see your side of everything. I'm really trying to sympathize with you, but it's like you making it really hard for me, because now it's just going back to the same type of woman that I just don't like.
Yeah.
Why is it that you feel bad for Tory, but last time I checked, you were sending texts to Megan asking if you should go to urgent care because he assaulted you and dragged you out the car. So why do you feel bad for Tory? It's just really, it's too much.
And she talks about how, like, you know, at the end of the day, because she answers that kind of in the interview, she says, you know, she can sympathize. She used the word sympathize with him because at the end of the day, she blames alcohol, right? She's very adamant about her perspective on alcohol, especially after that night, right?
That's why she's like, she's not drinking.
And then, yeah, she doesn't drink anymore.
Right.
And then she also says, you know, and I can really relate to this, right? So I feel like I really, from a very, very unbiased perspective, I feel like, because honestly, you know, and she described it well. She said, you know, when alcohol takes over, it's like the devil. You're a different person, and then you wake up and you don't remember anything, and you're scared to know what happens. I used to be a very heavy drinker. I understand that feeling. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like what that night was, in my opinion, was a bunch of people who are in Hollywood. We don't understand the pressures of Hollywood. We see only the outskirts, and we are already like, yo, this shit is crazy. So I can't even imagine what it's like to be in the shoes of a Tory Lanez, of a Megan, of even a Kelsey, because the industry itself is full of vices, it's full of evil, it's full of a bunch of shit. And then you have people who are so lost in the sauce because they're so famous and they have external validation everywhere. They don't probably have a lot of yes men. They drink a lot. No one tells them about themselves, right? So you have a bunch of fucking young adults having absolutely no idea how to control their alcoholism. And then you got, you know, this is what pans out. So I can understand when she says that she feels sympathy for Tory because she knows that without alcohol, that is not who he is. And I can really genuinely empathize with that because, and I can understand it because when I used to get drunk, I was nothing compared to the person I was when I was drunk. And I was disgusting. I was a disgusting person when I was drunk. And I used to hate when people used to try to use that as a reflection of who I am sober. Because alcohol really does change your, you know, what you do and how you act. But I still couldn't understand why she couldn't even say that Megan was shot. Not at one point in that interview did she say, yeah, Megan got shot. Not at one point did she say, oh, you know, there may have been, you know, powder fragments on me because so no, she gave no information. So I just felt like I got played. You know, a bitch that really try to be like, oh, let's talk about it. And then we don't talk about nothing.
Right.
That's how I felt.
Right. Like, okay, so I understand, like, you know, you understanding that side of, you know, the liquor and the alcoholism and, you know, just that bringing out the ugly side of you. But going back to again, why couldn't you say that Megan was shot? Why did you go on the stand and say, I don't remember anything? Why did you text the security and say, help, Tory shot Megan? And that is full proof right here from CBS News. There's literally a text from you texting Sunday, July 12, 2020 at 7:27 a.m. Help, Tory shot Meg. So again, why is there such secrecy when there's some type of evidence that's out that at first they didn't want to use in court, but they ended up using it? Why is it weird? Why did you meet up afterwards with him? Why did you accept the jail call when he called you? It's stuff like that where I'm like, yo, all of these things, there's so many loose ends that need to be tied up. I get that you feel bad for Tory. I get that you still wish the best for Megan, but what happened? Right. And then on top of that, you were granted immunity. Why? Are you hiding something or were you threatened? It just makes me wonder because she claims that she didn't take hush money when she returned the diss track to Megan because Megan actually made a diss track about her. And I have a snippet of that.
Yeah, play that.
Yeah, which is crazy because I guess it seemed like this was unprovoked. I don't know what happened, but Megan came out with this diss track towards Kelsey. So then Kelsey responded with a diss track. She also went live. So I'm going to play Megan's diss track.
So due to copyright, we cannot play this song. However, I'm going to read you the lyrics. Megan made this diss track because she just felt like she was tired of people playing with her. So this is the part that stood out to us. Who you taking shots at, goofy ass bitch? Watching me succeed from your knees sucking d- I know you want attention from the that I get. I'm a steak, you a side plate, shrimp stay in your place. And in another part she says, you offered M's not to talk. I guess that made my friend excited. Now y'all in cahoots? Okay, you a puss in boots. If you guys are interested in hearing the full song, I suggest you check it out on your own time. It's called Shots Fired by Megan Thee Stallion.
So that was the snippet of Megan's diss track towards Kelsey. And Kelsey's sister went under the comments and said, she said, laughing emoji, ... but she's the friend going for the leftovers. Simmer down, side dish. A bunch of laughing emojis. So clearly Kelsey's sister is standing up for her, especially she's the main one sitting with Kelsey and she probably knows what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And she's supporting her sister throughout all of this madness. So then Kelsey responds with her own diss track, and this is it.
Who I'm taking shots at? Bitch, I'm busting you. I'm talking to that same bitch that crashed that boat on 42. It's a shame we're here today. Truth be told, it's cause of you. Couldn't control your little feelings. Look what dick is costing you. It was all good, yeah, about a week ago. Shout out Bobby Smarter, but this bitch is really cheap. If I was the one with the gun, you would've heard about a murder. Said her back was turned, but that girl know who really hurt her. Never been a jealous friend, and the people really know it. If you would've kept it solid, then I would've been told it. See, I really thought I knew you, thought that you would keep it G. If you wanna talk gangsta, bitch, I'm really from the street. Imagine lying to the DA saying I took some hush money. Put a muzzle on your friends, y'all acting like some crash dummies. Got my chain snatched? Damn, here you go lying. To be an A-list celeb, you doing too much.
So that's that. Kelsey also had went live, obviously, when this situation was happening. And this was after she had heard Megan's diss track towards her.
You still won't pick up that phone and call me. I will respect you more if you call me. I've expressed all my concerns to you directly. And you know what my issue is with you. I wasn't your enemy. You made me your enemy. We stopped fucking with each other, but I wasn't your enemy. You made me your enemy. I have every right to get on here and address this because you made a diss track for millions of people to hear trying to humiliate me. And I'm not hurt by the comments. I'm not hurt by any of that. But when it's coming from somebody that you really know, that's the problem. And Megan, I know you. We know each other. I know you like the back of my hand. So I don't know why you playing with me. I don't know why you playing with me. Because I can get on here and say some shit.
The girl, I told the bitch, she said, you must only be ashamed. I said,
I don't understand. It's like you be contradicting like a lot of shit. If anybody's a narcissist, it's you.
So yes, that's what Kelsey had to say on her live. And it goes back to one of the things that she did say in the interview, right? That, she doesn't know what happened. She said Megan don't know how to communicate. And she said she claims she tried to speak with her discreetly many times. But again, we don't know what happened outside of social media, whatever conversations they may have had, whatever contact she may have tried to contact. But my thing is, you claim that you don't know how you guys fell out, yet you still, in some shape or form, support the person who shot her, allegedly. So I just don't really know. I just feel like even you meeting up with him, even you accepting a jail call from him is betrayal. You know, but I can understand because Megan betrayed her first.
Right.
Megan was wrong. Megan should not have done what she did, and she knew she was wrong, which is why she lied about it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Which is why she's like, oh, it's embarrassing. Yeah, it is. Which is why you lied. So I don't know. This is one of those situations where it's like, damn, you see these two friends who were like really close fall out over dick. It's crazy. Like, you really let that come in between your friendship. And one thing that I really did like that Kelsey mentioned is that she's not that type. She's not a jealous friend. She didn't care. Like, you know, she's like, oh, I'd rather us laugh at these niggas.
Yeah, I really like
Which I really like that, because not a lot of women are like that. They rather fight you over a man.
Yeah, and when she had described when she had first met Megan in college or whatever, she described her as exactly what she is, right? She is the party girl,
she was,
you know,
the
big old freak,
team,
right?
Whole football team.
Right, like, you know, she was outside partying, and Kelsey wasn't really that outgoing as Megan, and she said it was funny how they even met, but I think that paints the picture, right? Like, okay, so y'all become friends and y'all actually bond, and you guys are best friends, which was one of my questions I'm glad was answered, because best friends is thrown around like so easily, so I wasn't sure, and they were actually best friends.
Yeah.
So I think that, again, when you look at the entire picture, right, you know how you met her, you know she's the opposite of you, and then you guys are close, so then you know you feel even more betrayed, because it's like, you could have just told me, but she was being a hoe behind my back. You knew I was fucking this guy, you know, and it's like, it's fucked up at the end of the day.
It is fucked up,
you know,
100%.
And I feel like Megan doesn't really take that accountability.
No, she doesn't. Like, I want to know, like, did you apologize to Kelsey for that? Like, did you ever apologize?
And even, like, in my opinion, I would say even publicly.
No, I don't think she needs to apologize to her publicly. What she needs to do is talk to her behind closed doors.
You don't think so?
Do you think Kelsey would apologize publicly to Megan? No, she don't do that internet shit. Kelsey said she's been trying to call Megan, so I feel like the best thing for their situation, what could have happened, is for them to just talk. Yeah. I feel like it didn't need to be this dragged out. But according to Kelsey, because again, we don't know what happened outside of social media, allegedly, Megan was sending her threats and was having people send her threats. That's just word of mouth from Kelsey. I haven't found any receipts about that. But I just feel like, you know, all of this could have been avoided if y'all just spoke. Because why is Tori the main focal point?
Yeah.
Which bothers me. Because it's about y'all. You know? And y'all really let this guy that wasn't even like anyone's man. It was just, she was just messing with him. You really let this guy get in between it. And, you know, she did mention in the podcast, oh, I'm going to speak for myself. I wasn't jealous about anything, which they insinuated, oh, some jealousy happened, which is what led to that. Which, of course, we saw all of the rumors online, how Megan got jealous because Tori was being a little friendly with Kylie. Which is weird.
But then again, that's what Kelsey was there to explain, and she did none of that.
She did none of that.
None of that. And you know what I thought was interesting? That she almost felt like, yeah, she was talking about it, but it also felt like a little bit of like, I'm a victim too, which honestly she is.
He dragged her out the car. And I'm going to share the receipt on that. So this is a tweet that was made by the senior reporter over at Rolling Stone. And she said that the judge also said that he would allow prosecutors to bring in the text Kelsey had sent Megan the night of the shooting that read, in quotes, "Should I get a scan at urgent care? ? My chest is hurting. My left side, back, and neck hurt. But that's from the fighting and him dragging me out of the car by my hair." Oh. And so she continued and said on Twitter, the defense tried to exclude it, calling it late discovery. But prosecutors said it was critical considering Kelsey had disavowed her September statement that Tori assaulted her and pulled her hair. The most important thing is that the trial is the search for the truth. And so my thing is,
totally forgot about that part.
Right, exactly. So when they did ask her, all of a sudden, she suddenly didn't recall. She didn't recall that happening. She didn't remember sending those texts to Megan. She said she must have sent them due to panic and didn't remember. That was her answer.
Yeah.
When she got on the stand and they asked her, everything was, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I just think it's interesting. Like, yes, I'm sure she was a victim too, but that's what bothers me the most is that this nigga hurt the both of y'all.
That's true.
But you're quick to sit there and say you feel sorry for him. You're quick to sympathize more for him before Megan. And this is before. This is before, I'm sure, the diss track and all that other shit came out.
Yeah, this is right after.
Exactly, this is the next day.
Yeah.
So it's like, why are you so quick to support this man that hurt you and your friend at the end of the day? And my thing is like, Megan was wrong for fucking Tory, but there's two in this. You know what I mean?
Of course. Of course. Of course.
There's two in this. He knew y'all was messing around. And he knew Megan was your best friend. And he still decided to sleep with her. Where is the blame on him, Kelsey? Where is the blame on him? However, Megan being your best friend, that hurts deep.
Right. Because
so it's like, yo,
she owes you loyalty.
Yeah, she owes you loyalty more than Tory, 100%. However, both of them, you know, were involved in this act.
Right.
Why do you feel bad for Tory, but you want to say Megan betrayed you? But then you also want to say, oh, you know, it's not even like that. So then what's really, because she says that she wasn't even mad about the Tory thing. That's not what separated them.
It was the lack of communication after.
Yeah, but she also didn't go into detail about that either. So I just feel like, why were you really upset? Are you telling me that you getting immunity is going to keep you from talking at least about the friendship? Like,
and that's what really
Tory's
bothered
the
me.
one that's in jail right now. Megan's not. You telling me you can't talk about that? I don't know.
Yeah, and that's what really bothers me about this is that, like, the point was to find something I didn't already know.
Right.
But all she did was tell me in more detail of how horrible and traumatized she felt after being betrayed by her best friend. Yeah. I don't care. I know she betrayed you. I get that part. I said that part. I think the world knows that part by now. But we wasn't listening for that. We heard that in fucking court. We seen it. We seen the paperwork. This is old news. Like, we've been following this. There's a whole documentary on this shit.
There's a whole documentary.
Don't
and I think
care.
You guys should watch it because that shit really does take you through the order and the sequence of events and really, like, paints the picture for you.
Yeah. And then you want to talk about, I think we should have, like, stuck together and this and that, but yet your words just sound so hypocritical.
Yeah, it sounds like it's contradictory.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what
they
sounds
contradict
like.
each other
it sounds
a lot.
Like, you know, it's not making sense. You know, you talk about the situation with your dad, but then you're rapping the fucking Nicki Minaj lyrics, lying on your dead mom. Like, you know, you're rapping. Like,
you think she feels some type of way because when she was talking about how that was the last time she ever spoke to Megan, that it just felt like, you know, those people that are like, why'd you stop being friends with me? I don't understand why. What do you mean you don't understand why? You don't understand the part you played? You don't understand that Megan got shot and yet you answered Tory's phone call the next day and then you all of a sudden don't remember? And we don't know what happened behind closed doors. Those are just the events that happened that we're aware of. So whatever happened behind closed doors doesn't matter. You telling me you don't understand why Megan's not your friend anymore, or why she didn't communicate with you?
It's crazy. Like, why? First of all, and that's the part that kills me because it's like you're sitting there talking about
she's playing a victim.
Yeah, you're sitting there really talking about, I don't even know. Like, I hate when people do that too because you know damn well you fucking know. Don't sit there and say you don't know. Don't sit there and say I don't know how to communicate. You were the one talking with the person that shot me.
And communicate, but didn't you say you don't need therapy?
But
so that goes to show you may
don't
not
know
want to
how
communicate.
Yeah. And that's what I got, because she said a lot of nothing. It gave Black China that don't answer the question.
Yeah.
That's really what it gave. So as soon as when they talked about the therapy part, I was like, oh, this makes a lot of sense. You feel like you don't need therapy even though you know the situation was extremely traumatic? So it's just interesting. Like, who's really the one that doesn't know how to communicate?
Do you think she feels some type of way that that Megan's not her friend anymore? Do you think she's one of those people? Did she give you that vibe? Like, just based off of, obviously this is just speculation here, but just based off the things she chose to say or whatever, that at any point she may feel some type of way that they're no longer friends. Or you think she's at peace with that?
I don't know. I really don't know, because I can't tell with her, because part of her seems like she's at peace, but then again, it's like pulling back and forth.
Because then it's like you're singing a Nicki Minaj thing
right.
about Megan. So it's
right.
like, if you're okay with not being friends, why are you choosing basically fighting words type shit?
Right. But then she'll sit there and say, oh, I could say a lot about you, but I choose not to. But then you're singing, like you said, the Nicki Minaj lyrics. So it's like, again, you're still disrespecting her, whether you look at it as disrespect or not. You calling Tory, you accepting the call from Tory is disrespect. You even fucking
being quiet on the stand is disrespect.
Yo, that's a slap in the face. 100%. And then you wonder why we're not friends.
But that's what I felt like when she said, there was a moment in the interview where she said, I'm a mom. I
protect myself. No one's gonna protect me.
No one's gonna protect me, my son or whatever. It's me and my son. That's what gave me. She goes, you can make of that what you will. That's what I feel like, that part stood out to me in particular, because I felt like she was telling us without telling us, the money, the bribe.
Yeah, but she claimed on her diss track that she didn't take hush money. So,
but it's illegal to take hush money. So of course you're gonna claim it.
Exactly.
But like at the end of the day,
I wonder if that's why she wanted the immunity.
Probably.
Because why else would you want to be granted immunity? Who have you heard that's granted immunity that's not guilty of something? It may not be the whole thing, but maybe something, a small portion that could really fuck your life up that you're guilty for.
And I was really disappointed in the fact that like the host didn't press her more on the fact that Whack 100 had said that there's a video of her.
Yeah.
If Tory's people are the ones trying to point it on you, why do you still feel sympathy for Tory?
That's what I said. I was like, his lawyers were really trying to set you up. They were really trying to say that you shot Megan. That was the story that they were going with in court. And you feel sympathy for this nigga? Why?
Unless that's the immunity. Maybe she was. And he handed her the gun or some shit.
Well, he said, dance, bitch. Let me stop. Yo. Chill.
Chill. You do too much. But I thought that was interesting. I was like, okay, none of this makes sense. It just feels... I feel more confused.
Yeah.
I have more questions than answers.
Exactly. I just want to know, why the fuck was there the residue of the gunpowder on you? Why? I'm so confused. And I know she got assaulted as well. I just wish. Yeah. I wish someone would leak the fucking video. Because like she said, it's LA. They were in a rich area. Everybody got cameras. Yeah. You know damn well they recorded what the fuck happened that night.
It's out there.
It's somewhere.
I believe it.
I believe it's out there too. Mm-hmm. And I just don't get it, man.
I'm curious to know what you guys believe, because it's like, there's just, go watch the interview and tell me what you think that the host, how the host handled her, what she had to say, and what you think about everything. Because I feel like there was a few things that just didn't make sense to me. And I'm still trying to figure out how Kelsey found out that they was fucking.
So when the documentary came out, I remember one part. Someone was this Megan that said this? I don't remember, but someone, I think it was either Megan or the security guard. I think it was the security guard that actually told the story about this, and they talk about this in the documentary. Is that Tory, drunk and all, decided to say I guess Tory and Megan were arguing because Megan was getting jealous about the whole situation with Tory being too friendly with Kylie. Yeah. And in the midst of that, them all being drunk, Tory starts calling Megan all types of names and starts saying, you a fake ass bitch because you don't even tell your best friend that who you fucking da-da-da-da-da. Yeah. And that's how it happened, because Tory decided to air out her shit. and that's what happened.
That's the problem, right? So we have only the security guard's recollection.
We have portions.
I want to hear Kelsey's.
Well, she said she found out that night.
Right,
so
but what does that mean?
That could tie into what the fucking was a driver or a security guard. I think he was both, but he said that. And I just feel like it kind of ties in, even though we don't know much. We don't have receipts. I really expected her to bring her receipts. Yeah. You trying to clear your name, bitch, but where are your receipts?
Usually people who are coming out like with this type of energy, like they'll be like, oh, breaking, you know, like these interviews and shit, they have shit like to back it up.
First of all, Cat Williams ain't waste no time clearing shit up on every single body. I feel like that's how you need to be. You want to clear your name, have your fucking receipts. We have our receipts. Where's your receipts?
Probably don't even have any though.
Where's your receipts? I need to see date, times. I need to see everything. You want to clear your name? Go. And I feel like that was her opportunity and she wasted it. That fucking interview was a fucking waste of time.
It was 100%.
Wasted
and
time.
It's unfortunate because the host really thought like that was going to be his Cat Williams interview. No, all love.
She was bad.
All love to the host. I love y'all set. I love the conversation. I enjoy your perspective. I really do. You guys got a great show.
He had the biggest intro. Like
he thought this was the Shay Shay.
He said, I ate, bitch.
Yeah.
Nah, but I really did like his intro though, because it's true. You know, episode 100 and something, you do this for so long, you have your moments where you don't know if it's gonna work out, and then you got this is a big guest, right?
Yeah.
But you didn't get nothing out the guest.
You didn't get nothing.
So like, yes, this was a great opportunity. This was a great guest, and I feel like
you didn't hold your part as a host.
You didn't get.
I understand.
You didn't deep enough.
I understand with some interviews and people you interview, you have to tell them the questions you're going to ask before, the things you're not allowed to cover, the things you're allowed to cover, but not for nothing. I still would have strategically found a way to ask.
Me too. Not for nothing. I just feel like if you're someone that's coming on to the petty headquarters, we do like to get to the truth. And it's like, yeah, we're not going to be disrespectful, but listen,
and you can easily decline, but I just know that I'm
still
gonna try.
Ask the question. You can decline. I'm still gonna ask the question. That's it. But I just feel like if you're going on a platform to clear your name, to clear your name, defend your honor, tell the truth. Let people ask you. Oh, what? First of all, no one wants to know about your life. I'm sorry. No one wants to know about your life.
I enjoyed getting some background.
No, I enjoyed it, but I'm saying what the people want to know when they saw that.
Majority of the people.
Like I enjoyed hearing about her life and her, how she grew up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But people are not expecting that. People want to know what the fuck happened. Are you gonna come here to spill the beans?
Yeah.
Or what? Like maybe you don't gotta spill certain things about Tori, but at least you and Megan's relationship, friendship, what happened? Like, you didn't talk about anything.
The only thing she gave us that was new information was that she discovered her and feels like she's the one that made her who she is, which I thought was interesting that she's taking credit for that. I think it's
she said that she claims that she's not trying to take credit for it.
No, I get it, but like, those type of people are also like, if
she's never said anything, and she said it only hit her when her mother, rest in peace, said something to her.
Right. But I just feel like, again, like, you didn't have to tell the world that.
I agree.
You chose to tell
that.
You chose to not tell us anything about the case. You could have chose to not say that either. Right. But you chose to say that.
I made you.
You chose.
Like you,
but in the most respectful way.
You could communicate that.
Right.
You could communicate that, but you couldn't fucking talk about what happened on that night.
That's what I'm saying. But so even though she's saying I'm not trying to take credit, you still said that. You chose to say that. You're not a public figure where we can look up this stuff. You chose to give us that information, but you chose not to give us the rest of the information, just like you did on the stand.
And then you wonder why Megan don't fuck with you. Because why would you do that?
And again, I don't want to be biased here. So like there is a part where honestly I feel like the world doesn't hold Megan more on her ass about the fact that she doesn't take accountability for her part. How is it that this whole situation can go by and no one is on Megan's ass about, yo, bitch, stop lying, you fucked Tori and admit it. Mm-hmm. No one is like, yes, there were people who were like, oh,
in the comments, yeah.
But like no interviewer, and I guess because PR, they probably won't even allow you to ask that to Megan. But at the end of the day, it's like, it's just not fair, right? Because if you're gonna hold Kelsey accountable,
in that interview,
you should hold Megan accountable.
I mean, that's true. Yeah, that's true. But
then there's favoritism, and that's not right. Everybody's wrong in this situation.
I agree. I really do feel like everybody in this party is just wrong.
Yeah.
Everybody is wrong. Like, I don't think there's one person that's really right. I feel like everyone's wrong and potentially a victim. Nah, is Tori a victim? I don't even know what happened
Is Tori a victim?
That's a great question.
You tell me. Is he? I don't know.
I mean, she said that he's not, like, maybe he was a victim in some sense to the liquor, to the fame, and to all of them, honestly, when it comes to that.
Look, by the look of Tori's parents, you could tell that whether he's in the right or wrong, that they're gonna ride. Exactly. That they're gonna ride for him. There's a bunch of yes men around these people. That's just the truth. Yeah. They get paid. And what happens is when there's a lot of money, you don't want to lose your job. So you're gonna say yes to everything. That's just unfortunately how people act when there's money involved. And with that, over time, you're feeding this, this Hollywood out of touch with reality that every action has a consequence. Even if you're rich, if you're fucking pulling out a gun and you're not a fucking, I don't know,
Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, you're going to jail, bro. Right. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's very likely. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, my take on this whole thing is, did Kelsey try to reach out to Megan and Megan ignored her? Does Kelsey know exactly why they fell out? And why didn't Kelsey give her reason for why she fell out with Megan? Like, you could have said that. How does that, like, incriminate you? You know what I mean?
It's true.
You could have said that. You didn't say nothing. You didn't even say that. Like, what was the real reason? What was the real reason?
Honestly, I blame the host on that. It's his job to put the pressure on especially if you see an opportunity. He wasn't hard on her at all.
He wasn't.
I'm not saying disrespect to her, but I'm saying there was a lot of moments where I was just kind of like, and I feel like
an opportunity. You know what it is? He I feel like he was just playing it.
He was
cool.
grateful.
He was taking it easy because, this is a sticky situation, and he didn't want to step on her toes, and that's what it felt like. This was like a big opportunity, and then he just didn't want to, like, ruin it. But I feel like if this is an opportunity, you better ask. Because you won't know unless you ask.
But when you see these things, right, they're opportunity, absolutely an opportunity, but there's a way to go about it. Just, there's a way to really, what he did could have been done by anybody, right? Your point of interviewing someone is to get a side that no one else sees.
Exactly.
On any other platform.
One makes your platform and interview different.
But now that this was a big opportunity, you could have used it to strategically ask her hard questions without having to be hard on the case, on the evidence.
Agreed.
But he didn't do that, and I feel like that's how you drop the ball, because yes, you have a lot more eyes looking at this episode, but then people are disappointed because it's like you didn't really hold your part on pressing her about the things that she needed to be pressed about. For example, that one, he could have asked her that.
Yeah.
And he didn't.
He did.
And that has nothing to do with the case at all.
I was literally yelling at my phone while watching this shit. Like, okay, well, why? Okay, well, what's this? Okay, well, explain this. Like, it just was coming out like back to back to back. Don't let me interview Kelsey. Don't let me interview Kelsey. Like, as I feel like I am the person that asks those deep, hard questions, especially about therapy. He didn't even ask her about that, about the trauma, because I would have definitely went straight to that. Because why do you feel like you need to neglect therapy?
For sure. I agree.
So I have some posts from Kelsey that I just want to share. There's one post that she posted, and she said, I want to clear up the rumors that I shot Megan. I wasn't the one with the gun and would never do something like that. However, I was present. Still not saying anything. Then there's another post where she tweeted and she said, disloyalty, a motherfucker, huh? And then there's another post where she posted a cute picture of herself and someone comments and says, wanna be Megan so bad, it's sad. Trolls on the internet, unnecessary fucking commenting. So she responded and was like, LOL, I would never want a soul like hers. Face and body don't mean shit. Relax. So I'm just like, and this was November 20th, 2020. So I'm just like, okay, so all of this stuff is happening. And then on the podcast, she does say that she wants to tell the truth. What's the truth? No, she didn't say she wants to tell the truth. I'm sorry. She said, I know the truth. But what is the truth? Tell us if you know. What is the truth? He didn't even ask that either.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, you keep saying all these things that you know the truth, and you're not saying anything. So I just feel like this was a fucking waste of time. You went on there for what? For what?
Yeah. Maybe to gaslight people.
I think you're reaching.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
You don't think she had any intentions on anything else other than the fact that she thought she ate? She thought she ate this interview? She thought she convinced the world that she's innocent? Is that what you think
She probably just wanted... I don't know if it's the gaslight, because she could have done this on any other fucking...
I agree. I don't think it's the gaslight. I'm jealous just throwing shit out there.
Yeah.
But so you don't think, or you think it's just a money thing? Like they paid her a good amount of money?
No, because Rolling Stone wanted an interview with her. I'm sure they would have paid her good money. Only difference is that they would be asking her those questions that she don't want to answer. That's the only difference. So I feel like, I don't know why she decided to come out now. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe she felt like, okay, it died down a little bit. Maybe I feel more comfortable now. Or maybe I just want to tell the world my piece, even though you didn't say anything. So I just felt like it was a waste of time.
People are calling her a clout chaser.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think she's a clout chaser.
You don't think she's a clout chaser?
No, I don't think she's a clout chaser. She could have did this if she was really a clout chaser.
You don't think she did promote her businesses.
She did.
And did say that she's working on something.
She did say that.
So do you think that this was maybe like her first attempt on like
her little press run?
Yeah, her little press run.
It could be.
Exactly.
Could be.
I mean, because I don't see, all right, she did say that she wanted to wait till she was not emotional about it, how she healed from it. Which I can understand completely.
She's comfortable now to talk, even though she still didn't talk.
Right, but that's the thing, right? So she said a whole lot of nothing. So I'm just curious to know what she really were, her motives behind getting on this particular podcast too, because it's like, I'm sure there were so many people who wanted to interview her.
Right.
Why them? I don't know.
Because they wasn't going to ask her the shit.
But I'm sure there's other people that weren't going to ask her the shit.
No. Be fucking for real. No.
Yeah.
Everyone has the same questions for her. And I'm sure they didn't. Which you can tell how they operated in the interview. Yeah. You know, they were very respectful.
You can still be respectful and ask those questions.
I know. I was going to continue. But I was going to say, like, they were really respectful, and they seem also like they were kind of like bouncing around it and didn't really want to touch on it that much. So, and like I said, this is their first like big guest, I guess, or a good opportunity for them. So this is to them important. They don't want to fuck it up. Yeah. So I feel like that was just more of the angle. And at some point, one of the hosts, you know, he did say, "Oh, we're not going to ask about no gun residue." And I'm like, you don't got to ask about that to get something different. To get something different. You don't got to ask about the case. You could have asked more about their friendship and why it ended. She said that Tory wasn't the reason. Okay, what was the reason? What was the reason? But no, seriously, like, what was the reason? Like, I don't get it. So it's that fucking shit was a fucking waste of time. And considering all of the evidence that came out, it's like, girl, girl, why did you text security help?
And
Tory
you can't blame
shot Meg.
You can't blame alcohol for everything.
You can't.
You can't.
And I'm just like, why would you text that? Why did you text that? Why did you text that? And it's like, obviously she's not going to say anything about it because she already pleaded the fifth. I mean, he asked her about that, but she didn't even answer that. Like, she bounced around that too. When he asked her, why did you? And she didn't even answer. She said a lot of nothing. She was just doing a lot of this and going around the question. I was like, you know what? I can't.
I don't know.
Yeah. What do you think?
It's given a little bit of things are slowing down, so I need to put my name back. Like, you know, I don't know, business. It's giving a little bit of a press, business promotion type shit. I just trying to put myself in her position, right? Like, because I really try to understand people, but I just don't understand why now, why them, why tell us a whole lot of nothing. Like,
especially
why?
if it's for a press run, why them though? You could have went anywhere bigger.
True. So I guess I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys think about this whole thing? Did you watch the interview? I don't know. I feel like I came out of that whole thing with more questions than answers.
Yeah.
And now I'm even more confused.
Yeah. Like, why did you even do this? Like,
right. Why did I just waste my 2 hours
yo,
watching
right?
that?
You said nothing.
I don't know.
I don't know, man. Yeah, I didn't really care for the interview. I mean, I saw the little teaser that they put out, and I was like, oh, wow. So you gonna... I remember seeing the comments, and someone was like, going on a podcast and not speaking while you were on stand is crazy. And I'm like, yo, it's so true. Like, you're going on a podcast, but you can't speak on anything. But then again, you didn't even speak about anything on the podcast.
Yeah.
So maybe this was a way to promote her shit. But then again, it's like, you could have picked any other platform, but maybe she just, again, didn't want to be asked certain questions, and they weren't going to. So she's like, "Fuck it," and this is still promo for my business. So
I don't know. I have no idea why people do what they do sometimes, and all I know is that they continue to use this. I mean, this is a good way to get people to get to know Kelsey and her businesses, and I don't know. I just see it as a business move. I don't know.
I just feel like I had a hard time really sympathizing with her, especially all the stuff that we know. Like, it was just so hard for me. You know, like, girl, I'm sorry, but yes, Megan was wrong, but y'all all wrong. So at this point, like, just be honest. I feel like she wasn't being honest, and that's the part that really bothered me. Like, I felt like you weren't being honest, and I just can't deal when people just beat around the bush and then want to play victim and then lie. Like, stop fucking lying. You know what the fuck happened. Say something. You acting stupid, like, oh, I didn't even know. Girl, at least tell us what happened, why y'all fell out. You couldn't even do that. But anywho, that's all I have to say about it. I don't really have much to say. It was a waste of time, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, you probably get more information out of not probably. You do get more information out of the documentary than you do from that interview. So
yeah, 100%.
Don't even worry about wasting your time. You got more information here. All the information that you heard on this podcast is what you basically get out of that interview.
Yeah, I think the documentary is also on HBO Max.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
It's a good documentary. But yeah, I think it's interesting how this came around full circle, because I've been wanting to talk about the Megan and Tory thing, but it just, this is always in the back burner.
Yeah.
Because obviously we didn't have our podcast back then, but it feels good to now finally, obviously it's not the full thing, but
it's not,
that shit is so overwhelming with evidence anyways that this is a perfect way to speak my opinion on the whole thing. And you already know how I feel about how Megan was treated in the media and all that shit, and how women are not as they're not, media's not as nice to the women as they are to the men. So
yeah, but also the women aren't nice to the women. Look, Megan and Kelsey, they weren't nice to each other.
That's that catty shit.
Yeah, so I mean, hopefully you made it to the end of this video, you enjoyed it. Comment your thoughts below. Definitely let us know what you think.
Definitely.
How did you feel about Kelsey and her responses and just the interview itself and the whole situation?
Agreed. Do you have anything to say about what we said and our interpretations? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Also, if you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple, we would appreciate it if you rate our show. If you like it, give us 5 stars. We appreciate all the love and support and the comments and everything like that. I love the
comments. Stop speaking for yourself.
Because I mean, I can only speak for myself.
Well,
but
I love the comments.
Yeah, you're right. All right.
You trying to play me?
Damn, jeez, I'm just trying. We love your feedback and comments, especially the long ones where we really get to know y'all. So
yes. So where can they find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram. That's JESSI.strange. And where can they find you, Tiana?
You guys can find me on Instagram at Randomania1. You guys can find us on Instagram at The Petty Headquarters. And Yes, we are on all podcast platforms, like she said. Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, all the stuff. Wherever you listen to your podcast, we are there. You can write a review on Apple and you can rate on Spotify. So definitely write a review on Apple and rate on Spotify and rate on Apple as well. So yes, you can find visual versions of the episode on YouTube at Petty Sim Productions. We release episodes every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Okay, keep up. If you want to watch the funny sim talks, it's my TikTok, Petty Sim Productions. So yes, with that being said, we are done talking about this shit, and this was your weekly dose of mess.
Blah, 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 blah.